Welcome back to New Frontier. I'm BP, and this is the Homestead Challenge. We are still in May. Wanted to get this other grass field baled up real quick as we were transitioning equipment. We wrapped up last episode having plowed the extension on our wheat field over there. Need to go over there, get the rocks picked. We are going to give it a quick cultivation just to run the new tool and make sure everything works, because we need to have that just in case we get a crop fire so we can put it out. And then we have to get the wheat planted. So still quite a bit to do here in May. Dragging a couple of bales along here with us. Don't mind us, we're just collecting them as we go, I guess. Let's see if we can't, yeah, there we go, get rid of a couple of them that way. So yeah, still quite a bit to do here in May. Probably should have been a multi-day month. But, you know, we sort of got off track a little bit when it came to planting the wheat, because we decided to do the expansion, and then we decided to cut the grass. So we did not get into the planting when we thought we would, but everything is going to work out just fine. So let's grab the rest of these bales. We'll grab the Unimog. We'll put all the bales up in the bale shed. I have made the decision here with the goat experiment. I don't think it makes sense to try to increase the breeding quality, the genetic pool of our goats through breeding with a bad ram. I just don't see that helping. So I think what we're going to do is we'll head over when we're done here, because we'll be right there by the goat pen, and we'll probably either castrate our male goat or take him up to the shop and sell him. And we'll buy some straws from more genetically desirable animals, higher quality animals, animals that have already been bred up, and try the artificial insemination route and see if that changes the quality of our goat stock a little bit more quickly than just trying to breed through and around the bad genetics. Because as you guys remember, we started with 4 goats, and they were the worst goats at the store, and we're trying to get their stock brought up and have a healthy, desirable, highly genetically qualified herd of goats here by the end. So let's see, dump out the rest of these bales here on the field real quick. Let's get folded up. That should dump the last one out. Excited that we have a baler that not only matches the size of our existing hand baler, but also works really well behind the John Deere. It gives the John Deere more of a role on the farm. I do suspect a lot of our hand tools are going to be run, or a lot of our PTO powered tools will be run by the Mercedes, but it is nice to be able to keep the John Deere in the mix. I'm going to leave this right here because I'm not exactly sure where the bales are going to stack when we bring them in. Jump off here. So let's start by just coming into the menu for the goats. So we have our 3 females. We have one that's 20% pregnant with 2 babies, one that's 40% pregnant with 2 babies, and one that is not pregnant at all. And they have to be 16 months to get pregnant. So this one is not. So we're going to come in here and let's see, get our male animal, and we're going to castrate him so he can't breed with any more of our females, because his values, as you can see, overall bad, very low, extremely low, very low, extremely low, very low, not a high quality animal. So he's no longer going to be able to breed. Now let's come in here and let's find a better alternative. Let's find a extremely good, cheerful jester. Is extremely high, and very high. So we're going to buy I mean, we can't really use that many straws, right? Because we have to mix it up. So actually, I think we'll just buy the one straw because we have the one female that needs it. Maybe we'll buy two just in case as a backup. So we'll buy that, and then let's come back over here, find our one pregnant that is our one female goat that is not pregnant, and we'll go through the artificial insemination menu. And, oh, we already had some samples, too. Oh, that's a black Welsh Mountain. So the black Welsh Mountain sheep. So that wouldn't have worked. 84% chance of success. That is exciting. We're going to go ahead and try that. And so we've started the artificial insemination process, and hopefully she will be pregnant in the morning. And when we have a free trailer hitch, we will run up to the shop and we will sell our male goat because I just don't think he's worth it. Now, the great news is, since we paid negative $4 for him, anything we get for him, he was worth a couple $100 when we were in there, we're going to make a little bit of profit, which is going to be good. All right, we have all the bales back on. Let's get bale collect mode. Turn back on. And go grab all of these bales. I still think it's so funny putting these tiny bales on this giant Unimog trailer. Like I said last time, it feels like we could just have 1,000,000 of these bales and they'd all fit on here. But I am very excited to have a good quantity of bales on the farm because grass has proven to be just a bit of a challenge with the realistic weather mod and the Eastern Canada weather map and seasonal patterns. Just not getting the grass cuts that we normally get. So come in here, wondering if we can back this in and just release the straps and if that will be sufficient to get it unloaded. Man, this Unimog is such a cool truck. Let's see if we can't push it over just a little bit. Yep, we are getting unloaded. Very, very nice. All of them in there. Let's just get him pulled over. And they don't even take up that much space in the back. Let's take a quick look. That's the nice thing about the mini bales, since we're such a small homestead still. I mean, look at that. They don't even take up that much space. Gives us this whole shed for other activities. All right. So we're going to leave the plow here because I haven't decided if I want to plow this area as part of the cornfield or if we're going to put the cornfield somewhere else. We can't plant corn yet. Should double check that actually with the calendar. Let's take a quick look. Corn. Okay, we can plant corn, and actually we need to plant corn by next month or by the end of next month. So we might end up putting corn in here. We might end up finding a different area. We'll see. I think I want to go with a relatively large cornfield. Not anything huge, but I think we want to have enough that it makes sense to do corn. Because the equipment, even if we get small, cheap equipment, is going to be relatively expensive. So let's get the cultivator up. I'm wondering if we should just cultivate first. Man, look how flooded our field is. That is craziness. Get it all cultivated. This is really just a test to make sure that the cultivator works and that everything's in order. Because when it becomes time to put out a fire, if we ever get to that stage, it is going to be, we're going to need to use a cultivator now. So this is working well. I'm happy, but I can't see the stones. So let's pause and get the actual stones up. If you guys remember, we don't have, so you can see them here that it's hard to see otherwise, we don't have a good pull behind stone picking option for the horsepower requirements or the horsepower limits of our tractor. So we did not buy a stone picker last episode. So we are still doing the stone picking by hand. And then we're going to throw a quick cultivation on the field. And then we're going to come back with our new Massey planter or seeder over there. You can see it over there in the distance. And get our wheat planted. Guys, I think I'm going to have some wet boots here This water is what didn't look that deep when there was when we were on the tractor, but certainly, man, that is look how deep that water is. That is crazy. All right, so we're not going to do the whole field. We're going to attempt to just pick up the rocks as we go. Let's see here. There we go. That should get it enabled. All right, so we're just going to scoot around. Yeah, it's definitely much harder to see the rocks once it's cultivated. So we're going, I'm glad we stopped. That would have been unpleasant, and we can come back and cultivate. That won't be a problem. But let's get the rocks up and get moving from there. So in regards to the corn, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with the corn yet. Just feel like something we want to have on the homestead. I've been looking at and trying to find a couple of harvesters that might work for us. Again, we don't have a lot of horsepower ability on the farm, and we're making good money with the homesteading stuff, particularly with the wood and the apples. And now we actually have the greenhouse cranked up to 100% from 50% production because we are in year 2. I think the money's going to be good, but we're not going to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy some giant harvester. And plus, it just wouldn't be very practical for the size fields we had. You know, having a harvester that you can get the whole field done in one pass doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I've been looking at harvesters and trying to figure out what we want, and have a couple of ideas in mind. And the good news is all of them come with some kind of corn header. So we will be able to just pick up and do our grain crops and our corn with the same harvester when the time comes. So it will, if you guys remember, corn requires plowing between each planting. So we will be using that plow every season if we get into corn. And I think, you know, maybe we do the cornfield, we put it in with the Unimog because it has 165 horsepower, and that plow does require 150. And the Mercedes got the job done and did not complain, but it was a bit on the slow side. Making good progress on this field. I think we got quite a few of the rocks up already. You look like here and you see a bunch, but it's easy to zip around, particularly with a hand push cart, and just grab them, you know? It's just nice and easy. Now, I did, if you remember, on the old part of the field, we did show that you can use an AI worker with these now. So a great update to the hand pushable machines pack. You know, they are now, most of the machines are AI compatible. I imagine it is the baler and a couple other specialty pieces that probably aren't quite ready for AI prime time yet. But, you know, being able to set a worker out is quite nice and get the field done. So let's wrap up here. I think we're probably about 75% of the way done. And I'm not even sure, with all these rocks we're picking up, I'm not even sure if we're going to have enough to get a full bag of lime yet. You know, our lime production is not huge, but producing 1,000 liters of lime with the size fields we have and the hand tools we're using proves to be a bit of a task. It takes a bit of time, so hopefully we get to our first bag of lime. I'm not sure that's a big achievement, but remember, in the rules, we are required to be self-sufficient for a full year as one of the requirements to succeed on the Homestead Challenge. So being able to produce our own lime is going to be critical. We won't need a lot because our fields aren't very big, but in that year of self-sustainability, we need to lime a field. We need to be able to produce it here on the farm. So nice to be able to build up a little bit of a stock of lime and some of the other supplies that we need. Still going to have to be able to produce seed. Probably need to talk about how we're going to produce fertilizer. But yeah, just that kind of stuff, just to make sure that when it comes time to hit that final year, that we are self-sufficient. All right, let's jump into the map. I'm sure I've missed a couple little ones here and there. Huh. All the stones that I missed are back on the old section. Well, let's pick those up on the way back. No point in leaving stones on the field when we have the stone picker out. And then we'll go here. We're going to cultivate the whole thing real quick using the Mercedes right over there. I'm excited to get that one going. Oh, sounds like we found one here. All right, so the first batch is sort of straight ahead. I'm wondering, do you think it's... I think it's these spots. You see the lighter spots where the mulcher didn't quite hit? I wonder if those are showing up as stones. I don't think we can pick those up. I mean, these are definitely what they're indicating are stones. Yeah, I don't think we can pick those up, guys. So let's see. There's one down there on the right, which is this one right here, and then the two down. Yeah. So those are the little spots the mulcher missed. So we didn't actually miss any stones. The mulcher went over it, and we can't pick them up, or it's falsely reading as stones on the field when it's not. But either way, we got everything done. Let's go tuck this away, and then we will run back and grab the Mercedes and get the cultivating done. And then, guys, we are on to the Massey Ferguson, which is going to be exciting. So let's get pulled over here. I'll have to bring the forklift over and get this emptied between episodes. All right, we'll come back and deal with that later. For right now, it is planting time. Well, technically cultivating time, but getting very, very close to getting our fields planted. And then we have to decide if we're going to roll them. And if we're going to do that by hand, or if we're going to do that with some new implement we don't own yet. So, more decisions to be made. I'm guessing with $421 in the bank. And I suspect there probably won't be a lot of tool purchasing this episode. But we could come into some money. You never know, things happen. Yeah, this cultivator is just about perfect for the Mercedes. Nice and easy to pull. Not having any challenges there. Let's just head around the outside of the field. Get all squared up and done. That Mercedes sounds so good. That is a nice looking setup. Happy to be in the cab of a tractor too. You know, don't mind being out in the weather, but it is nice to have some options to not be completely exposed to whatever is going on in the outside world. We're going to swing through and get these couple of little spots we missed, and hopefully grab this spot right here. Perfect. Get that cultivator up. Now all we got to do is a couple passes around here, and we will be all set and ready to plant. I'm excited because the other thing, guys, the Massey has fertilizer capacity. So we don't have to fertilize separately, which cuts us down one step on getting our fields prepped and ready. All right, a couple more swings through here. This little hex drag grid style cultivator is very nice. Very lightweight, very low power. I think it was only like 30 horsepower or something for this one, which was nice. We have obviously way more than that, but nice to know there are options out there that you can still use even with the smaller equipment. Probably could have even pulled this with the John Deere, I'm guessing, but wanted an excuse to use the Mercedes. All done, quick and easy. Let's get it folded up. We'll get this stored in the shed over here. I've been just dumping everything in the shed because it was so big with all of our small equipment. Haven't really done much organizing, but I think we may have to do some actual organizing here and get stuff into better spots so we can access everything. But for right now, we will just lower this guy down and we will leave him right there. All right, the Massey, here we go. we have to get it filled up, and the good news is we have a good stock of seed and fertilizer over on our shelves. So we should be able to just pull along here. We're already on wheat, so that's great news. Look how big this thing is. Alright, recognize that we are by the seed. Filling her right on up. And where is there's lime. Fertilizer is the next thing on the shelf right there. So I'm hoping we can just pull up. And we may have to hand feed the fertilizer, which won't be a problem. Wow, is that all it took? No, I just missed the trigger. Alright, one bag in. Get a second bag of fertilizer in there. That's 500 liters of fertilizer for those of you playing along at home. Not a full tank by any means, but should, I'm hoping, be enough to get us through this field. Not even sure we can fit between the tree and the silage pit. We probably should take some of those bales we made and put them in the silage pit and get that going. Let's see how all of this goes. So, do we need to unfold? Probably not. Alright, and let's see about dropping it down. Yeah. I don't know if we realistically should be planting through this lake of water. But here we find ourselves. Yeah, this is so much faster than doing it with the hand tools. We will just zip around here, get all of this done, and then we got to figure out a roller. Maybe to go back and get that edge. I think I was a little bit too far inside. Well, let me ramp up the seeding. I'll throw this on a time lapse for you guys, and I will see you when we have our wheat all planted for year 2 on the homestead. That was really, really nice, guys. So easy with the Massey. I'm just going to go around the outside edge one time and make sure we have good overlap with the field boundary. But that was, the hand planting was fun, but this is so much more effective in getting the work done. I mean, even without a time lapse, that was just a couple of minutes to get the whole field planted. This little Massey, that was the MF326 planter, worked absolutely fantastic for what we needed it for. So let's go ahead and get it lifted up. Another item that's going to have to go into... Oh, that's going to be the grass field. Oh, I'm talking, and I wasn't paying attention, guys. We drove through our grass field. Another reason why we're not planting grass other places, because meadow grass doesn't do that. So I do wonder, we would find a place for this. This does have, I bought the transport wheels, as you can see. So how do we get the transport wheels down? Let's see. Unload, toggle select wheel type, selected fold seeder, lower seeder. I am not seeing... What does this do? That raises and lowers the drawbar. Well, that's cool. But that doesn't help us... Right, that doesn't help us get where it needs to be. Do I need to put it in this position to get like a different control so I can then fold it. So what happens if I hit X to fold cedar now? Doesn't seem to do anything. If I go to move, yeah, it's still attached. So I think that's for once we have it in the other configuration. So let's hop out and see if it's a manual control. I definitely don't want to do that. Let's see. Do we maybe need to come like over here? Oh, there's a hitch here. Okay. Do we just come grab it from the other side? That would be really clever. You can tell I've never used this one before. So let's take a look and see if I back up to this. Do I get an attachment? I don't. Well, that is very, very interesting. Open vehicle options, Massey Ferguson, the N key. Okay. Nope, that's the store. That's not going to help us. All right, well, I may have to figure this out at a different time. Oh, enter vehicle as E. That's taking me back to the Mercedes. Finding all the things that aren't helping us here, guys. Yeah, I don't think there's any... I'll have to figure it out. Smarter than me... Oh, did we get something there? Smarter than me for today. See, turn on flashlight, player speed. Yep, that's it. We'll figure it out another day. Alright, so let's take a quick look in the shop and see if there's a roller that makes sense for us to buy. I don't think there's going to be, but if we have to sell a couple pallets of apples to get a roller, I think it's going to be worth it. Yeah, $46,000 or $115,000. We don't have that kind of money. So, I think we'll get the roller out, and I think we'll put the roller on a worker. Here is our roller. And I know some of you guys said you were having some challenges with some of the hand pushable equipment, and the roller was one of the items specifically that was cited as being potentially challenging. I have not had any issues. So let's set this guy up for 4 headlands, no rounded corners, 5% overlap. See if we can't get that course created. Why is it going... Oh, it is going up and down. Okay. All right, well, I mean, we're going to set that guy off to... That must be Joe, the guy from town, here to help us out. All right. Oh, boy. Joe's figured out a way to use that without using the handle. Well, we'll leave him to that. We won't ask too many questions. Let's grab some bales, put them in the silage pit. Let's run up to town and see about selling that goat and see how that goes. So, start off here. I need to see how many bales we actually have in the shed to decide how many we want to take out. Should have a decent number. We got a good harvest. So 70 of them. So yeah, we'll take 25 out. I think about a third, a little more than a third of our bales can go to silage to be sold. So come in here. Have the great wall of bales. And it's funny, if you guys look, you can see some of them have twine from the baler and some of them don't from the hand baler. So it's actually storing them separately in the bale storage. That is a surprise. I thought once they went in, they were just sort of, they are what they are, but it knows where those bales came from. That is very, very surprising. All right, is the silage compactor on? Let's take a look at that. It is not, so let's get it turned on. 14,512 liters. So guys, 25 bales was just about perfect. We can crank the production up to 100%. I don't know that it makes a huge difference. We're going to pay a little more to have it go faster, and then we'll be done. We'll be paying less sooner, so it's sort of a wash, I guess, in the end. We don't really have enough grass that we need to be cycling it so fast. to keep up that it's really a big deal. But, you know, we'll give it a whirl at 100% and see how that goes. Let's see if we can't sneak through here. There was a new windmill mod that came out this week. Looks exactly like that one, but has some additional features, including a water fill plane that interacts with the snow and the rain. So we may be swapping out the windmill to try to find... Oh, we did not... Guys, we did not want to get rid of the crane. That's on me. Let's see. I think we want to get rid of... Yep, there's the trailer. So maybe swapping out the windmill, because the other one sounds really cool. Wouldn't really change the functionality, wouldn't change very much, but could be a very good option. You know what we haven't done? We haven't gone and gotten the bales out of the sheep pen yet either, so may have to do that between episodes as well. Once again, the Unimog can do basically everything we needed to do on the farm. Here we are pulling our animal trailer. Let's grab our ram. We're going to move him to the trailer, and let's drive him up to the shop and see about getting him sold. I will see you guys up at the shop in just a minute. We are arriving at the animal dealer. I realized on the way up here I had paused time to do some testing between episodes and did not turn it back to 5x, so I just bumped us up an hour and about 40 minutes. I've been recording for about 30 minutes, so at 5x we're right about 2 hours, hour and 40. So we are all caught up on time. I apologize about that, guys. We are sticking with the time expectation at 5x. So any animals we should buy? Let's take a quick look and see if there are any more goats. We don't have very much money, so it's not as though it's going to make a big difference. That goat didn't sell. I was going to say we should have a little bit more money. Why won't it sell? Sell selected. There we go. $1,200, guys. We may even be able to afford a couple of really terrible goats. So let's see. Pigs. Got to get to the sheeps and goats. All right, let's see. Oh, look at this terrible animal. 46 months is the problem. Not looking to buy bad animals that are old. 10 months, of course, now we have good animals. 14 months from Japan. We could take that one back with us. 10 months. That one's also not great. That one's also not great. Yeah, I think that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that is all we can fit in our trailer. So we had $1,200. Now we have $1,000. We have 100. We spent just over $1,000, almost $1,100. So we're going to run our new 4 not great goats back to the pen. I'll get the rolling finished up. We did discuss in last episode making sure the apples got switched over to water. We're going to wait and get that done when the solid fertilizer runs out. So real quick, we'll check in on that. So our orchards still have, here, this one has 1,300 fertilizer. This one has 1,000 fertilizer. Let's actually, you know what we'll do? We'll bump these to 100% to burn through the fertilizer faster, so we don't have to wait, and then we'll get them switched over to water. But I think not buying that fertilizer, saving the cost, and just having to make more trips with the water tanker is going to be a better option for us long term. So that was 2 episodes in May. We had so much to do. I'm looking at the weather, and you guys see in the top right corner, 0 to 1 centimeters expected. And the weather icon is a cloud. Now, there's no snow coming out from underneath it, but there also isn't any rain coming out from underneath it. So, are we expecting snow in May? Looking here, it looks like rain at 7 o'clock, so maybe it's going to be rain a little later in the day, but 0 to 1 centimeter is expected. Sounds like snow to me. So I wonder what we'll wake up to in June. We will see when we get there. Once again, I know I keep saying it, guys, so pleased with the Unimog. Just pulls great. Look at us getting the goats back to the homestead nice and easy. I'm sure I'll get some comments about how to use this Massey seeder. Drop me a comment. Tell me how to use it, how to unfold the wheels. I'm sure I missed something obvious and you guys know what it was, so let me know about that. Let's get our goats into our pen. And we'll just stop right here. Select all. Move selected. All 4 animals going in. And we now should have, let's see, we had 3 females, and then we just dropped 4 more off. So do we have 7 goats in there? Let's take a quick look and see what we've got before we head on out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we can get the rest of these. Let's see. If they're eligible to become pregnant, we should put them on the insemination list. Yep, 2 young, and then this one knows who. This is the one we artificially inseminated earlier. So yeah, we'll wait a couple months and we'll get those guys done. So overall, another great episode. Really, really pleased with the expansion on the wheat field. So glad that we got that all done. Our worker is running around getting the rolling done for us, so we don't have to worry about it. Nice. Maybe we'll head back to the cabin, kick our feet up, have a nice, cool, refreshing beverage, and enjoy the rest of the day. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to drop a like and turn on notifications for more videos. Channel memberships are available, and channel members do get early access to upcoming videos. That's all for this episode, but I'll see you in the next one.